You want to raise your spiritual vibration. And I commend you for that, because that means you want to live a better and a more fulfilled life. And in this video, we're going to talk about the vibrational staircase. We're going to talk about how to determine which vibrational frequency you're practicing the most, as well as which frequency and vibration you want to live more in. And then we're going to talk about how you can make the leap from where you are now to where it is you want to go with your spiritual vibration. So let's jump right into it. This is your vibrational staircase. And yeah, I probably could have chosen a better name, but I wanted to get some kind of visual representation of what it looks like to be low vibration all the way up to the highest vibration possible, which is enlightenment. The feeling of peace, the feeling of love, gratitude, being enlightened, all those different positive emotions. And listen, you're on this quest to raise your spiritual vibration because you want to improve some area, if not all the areas of your life. You either want to achieve a higher level of consciousness or raise your vibration because you want to improve your career, your business, your emotions, your relationships, your love life, your finances, your physical body, whatever it might be. You have a reason for wanting to raise your spiritual vibration, and I commend you for being on this journey. Now, this vibrational staircase, the reason why I wanted to represent it here is because the first step to going to where you want to go vibrationally, to experience more positive feelings and emotions, and truly to live in a beautiful state more of the time, we first have to understand where we are right now on the journey. We don't start at love and gratitude, peace and enlightenment. We don't start up here. Generally, we start somewhere down here. And a lot of people might even start towards neutrality and courage, which is the middle of the scale. So at the bottom of the scale here, we've got the disempowering emotions. We've got the very low vibration frequencies. We have shame, guilt, anger, pride. And then we slowly start to rise up into neutrality, the feeling of courage, the feeling that things are okay, right? Because neutrality isn't necessarily a great emotion. Great emotions are things such as acceptance and reason and love, gratitude, peace, enlightenment. And there are thousands of different emotions that can be on this scale. I just didn't have enough flip chart paper to write all 1,000 emotions or more. And what I want you to ask yourself is, which emotion do I live in the most of the time? Because while there will be days where you might even feel every single one of these emotions, there is a place on this staircase that you spend most of your time. Just like you go to the gym to work on a specific muscle, what happens? That muscle gets stronger. The more you practice it, the better you get. And a lot of people practice these disempowering emotions. I've known so many people who were very good at being angry. I've known people who were so great at being prideful and fearful and guilt-ridden and shameful and all these disempowering emotions. And when you're down here, it feels like it's impossible to rise up the staircase. But let me tell you from experience, having been depressed and anxious and so on and so forth with my body and my finances, I was able to ascend this staircase. It didn't happen overnight, but now I experience many more emotions of gratitude and love and acceptance and reason. And there will be days where I experience these disempowering emotions, but they are far and few between what they used to be. So use me as your example of you can improve. But the first step is, where do you spend most of your time right now? Get very honest with yourself and answer this question. What emotion are you practicing the most? That is step one. As I mentioned, raising your vibration is a lifelong journey. You're not going to do it overnight. You're not going to go from living down here in these disempowering vibrational states to all of a sudden being up here in the positive emotional states. You can do it more quickly than not if you make a conscious effort, but it's all about the journey of raising your spiritual vibration. And now that you know where you currently live, and first I congratulate you for being very honest about this, the next step is to decide where you want to go on the vibrational scale. And you might hear that question and you might say to yourself, well, obviously I want to be enlightened. Obviously I want to experience more love, more gratitude, more reason. Brandon, I just want to go to the top of the vibrational staircase and enjoy this enlightenment that I experience. And to you, I commend you for that. It is a lofty and a large goal of yours. But what I want you to do right now is I want you to get very realistic. And I want you to ask yourself, in the next 3 months, where would I like to be on this scale? If right now you are a prideful individual and you recognize that and you're aware of that, which is something we're going to talk about here in a second, then where realistically do you believe you could land on this scale within the next 3 months? After 3 months of deep awareness, 3 months of a lot of self-work to rise up this staircase, where do you realistically think you can be? Because if you set your goal for enlightenment, there's just so many steps in between that you have to go over, and so many obstacles you'll have to go through, and so many learnings that you'll have to experience. It's hard to set your goal all the way at the top of this staircase. Well, it might be something that we want to do. So realistically, where do you want to go on this staircase within the next 3 months? Decide on that now. Now you have a really good idea of where you currently are on the vibrational staircase, which emotion you are practicing most of the time. And now you also have a realistic goal of where it is you want to be on this staircase within the next 3 months. Now you're probably wondering, well, how is it then that I can go from where I am on this vibrational staircase to where it is I want to be? Brandon, it just seems so difficult that I could go from something such as shame to something like neutrality. And let me tell you, while that might seem like a big leap, it is possible within 3 months if you are very aware and conscious of one thing, and it's one word: awareness. The more aware you can be of how you feel in any given moment, any given day, week, or month, the more power you have to feel a different emotion instead. And I talk a lot about this in my video up here that I'll link you to, where I talk a lot about gratitude and my own gratitude ritual that I practice every single morning, which puts me in a pretty amazing vibrational frequency before I even begin my day, since it's something I do when I first begin my day. And you can do a lot of different things to become more aware of your emotions. But as an example, let's say you're going throughout your day and you stop and you ask yourself, how am I feeling in this given moment right now? If the answer is you're feeling kind of angry, you just might have gotten some bad news at work, or you might have just gotten into a fight with a friend or a loved one, or whatever might have happened, you're angry. And it doesn't really matter what got you into that emotional state. What matters most is how you get yourself out of it into feeling something different. And the moment you're aware that you're angry, you now have the power to feel a different way. So you already know, if your goal is to feel more accepting, then you can think instead, in that moment when you feel angry, you can think instead of a thought that would cause you to feel accepting instead. Although let me tell you this, one of the most powerful strategies that I found is when I ask myself, how am I feeling right now? And the answer isn't what I want it to be, which is one of these red emotions or neutral emotions, then I'll think of something that I'm grateful for in my life. I'll think of somebody that I love, and I'll think about why I love them. I'll think about something incredible that just happened for me in my life, a promotion, great news, something that I did for somebody else. I'll think of something that I'm grateful for, because the thing about your brain and your mind is you can't be loving and grateful and angry at the same time. It's just not possible. So when you ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? And you become more aware of your emotions more of the time, you're going to slowly practice feeling differently, feeling an emotion that is more serving to you. And the more you practice these high vibrational emotions, the more your life is going to improve in practically every way. I actually just sat down with Donna Campbell, who is an expert at financial prosperity and prosperity in practically every area of life. And I'm going to link to you up here to our interview, because our interview goes deeper into these principles. But Donna mentioned that she actually puts a stopwatch on her phone to remind her to ask herself how she's feeling in any given moment. And you can put an alarm on your phone to go off every 30 minutes, every hour, so that when you look at your phone, you're reminded to feel the way that you want to feel. Because the more you feel the high vibration emotions, the more you will live in that state. Your emotions are a muscle. The more that you strengthen them, the more that you get to enjoy and live in them. Always remember that raising your spiritual vibration is a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. You can accomplish a lot in 3 months, 6 months, a year, and so on and so forth, but something overnight is just not reasonable to think about. So what I'm saying is, if you're feeling more disempowering emotions right now, don't beat yourself up. Right? If you're only conscious of your emotions a few times a day and you make it a few more times a day over the next week or month, then you're making progress. Remember, progress is the name of the game because this is a lifelong journey. To make your journey a little bit easier, if you click the first link in the description below, I want to give you a free digital copy of my book called Be Extraordinary, Your Guide to Self-Mastery. And in the spiritual mastery chapter of Be Extraordinary, I talk a lot about my gratitude ritual, what you can do in order to go from a low vibrational state to a high vibrational state first thing in the morning, and I want to give that strategy to you. So click the link below, grab Be Extraordinary, flip to that chapter to go deeper into these principles. And until we talk again next time, continue to be better.